Okay, so I'll get a little more into the beta and why it's really cool. They don't make gear like this anymore, man. These were some of the first VCRs. Um, it's really cool. I mean, I always had a light on demand, had reset and returns, so you could return your tape to the zero mark. Even had tracking, and you had mode for beta 2 or beta 3 record mode. Beta 2 was a little bit better. Um, Dropout compensation and things like that ran a little bit faster. And you have all the functions you had on your normal VCRs and what you still have today. Sony was a pioneer in that audio dub mode, man, where you could just go back in and relay audio over your track. Say you had to put a commentary or some ID tracks, you could just punch right into the audio track separately. Really cool features. My other deals, I have the clamshell here. The digital 8, a lot of times I just use it as a little small clamshell monitor. I don't bother with the recording much, but it's really good for playing back old tapes and 8mm. And also, if I need to record something that's not PCM, it's no problem in using that. I mean, you don't really get much loss. I mean, you lose a little bit, but I mean, coming from 3/4 to digital 8, I mean, it's funny, but digital 8 was a higher quality format. So once, if you want a protection copy that may be around, you might have to revisit these tapes again. It's always good to transfer these old tapes off to something else if you can. Digitize them and transfer them at the same time is beautiful. A lot of my colleagues don't believe in the transferring the analog stuff, but I say this gear isn't going anywhere. I still got plenty tapes around. So it's a nice way of condensing a cassette down to a large cassette down to a small cassette. And these also can run, hour and I think it's, no, 2 hours, some of these. So I can pack, several 20-minute cassettes all on one tape. Anyway, so here's my process. I'm going to get my 8mm going. Like I said, I'm going to get my 8mm going. There it is, going and record. I like to make sure my counter is set at 0. Now I'm going to get my PCM, or my beta, sorry, going. It's going there. Now I see PCM audio. Very good. I'll resolve this later. Turn up this volume. Okay, this was an instance where we had no reference audio, so I won't be able to hear this as it's going down. But after this goes down, I'll get back to you and see how this resolves. But just looking at the video, you can see it's got a tracking error near the bottom, a few dropouts pop out. Those are translated into noise. I'm going to try to set the tracking on this deck and see if I can, get that better. So I'm going to adjust the tracking, twisting this knob, and see if I can get that little material out at the bottom. Okay, you saw that disappear. That's a tracking adjustment. It's likely was recorded on a different beta than this one. Okay, so what I'm going to do in that case, since I made a tracking adjustment which seemed to improve that bottom area of the picture, I'm going to do the old start-stop again. So let's take a chance. I usually like to do this in one pass. But let's see if that tracking adjustment holds. So this is some of the things you had to deal with in our analog world, and we're going A to D, analog to digital, but all these knobs and all these adjustments meant something. I mean, even on the 3/4, you had skew. You physically manipulate the tape, and tracking, you electronically manipulate the playback heads and the physical tape on the head. So quite an operation. So I'm gonna leave this setting here. You can see it's slightly off from the detent position, which would be down at 6 o'clock. So I'm gonna look at my counters again. All right, that's 0. Fair enough, 999. All right, let's start that process again and see if we can eliminate that tracking error. I didn't mean for this to be an educational thing, but it's not really, because you're likely to never run into this in your career. But let's see. There it is, resolving. Sorry, my door has malfunctioned. I don't see the tracking error as bad if it was there at all on the bottom. Not too many dropouts. I'm going to replace my door that managed to come off. That's simple. Nothing's damaged on it. Just slipped out. Old gear. 40-year-old gear. I understand. But anyway, let's press on and get this cover back on.